I put a key in ignition, started this car. Oh boy, the sound! I was like, damn. The Maserati Granturismo MC Stradale, the MC standing for Maserati Core, is that the best sounding car? Well, you could say best sounding family car, although it doesn't look like one. Is it or is it not? So in this video, I'm going to share my personal experience of test driving it. So make sure you guys watch to the end. Let me start off with saying where my love for Maserati came from. Mostly came from being able to finally afford luxury cars, right? So I really started getting into the Maserati because I love the look of the Maserati. I love the trident symbol. It sort of symbolizes power, the sounds of the cars, even the Maserati Ghiblis, etc., which it doesn't look like it's a good sounding car or a powerful car, but it is, but this is about the Gran Turismo. So I got into that, and of course, having kids at that time, and obviously I still have kids, but having kids at that time, I had to be smart with. I couldn't just go and get something that's two-door and all that is cramped, although it's got four seats. But having kids at the time, I had to get something more appropriate. So I ended up getting the Jaguar XF at the time, but the Gran Turismo was a very good contender, but it didn't stop me from really liking the car, looking into the car and what it is, seeing people's reviews, etc. of the car. So I test drove it, and the guys at Edinburgh, they called me up, said, we've got an MC Stradale. Are you still a potential buyer? I was like, yeah. Let me get a test drive. So I drove up to Edinburgh, all excited. I actually spent the night there, because it was early in the morning and I just could not be bothered driving early to Edinburgh because of traffic and stuff like that. So I drove there, and finally they pulled it out. They pulled out all the stops. Basically, they came out with all the name, or this is your Maserati, all that stuff. That like customer service, which I really liked about them. I put a key in ignition, started this car. Oh boy, this sound! I was like, damn! I was like, I'm in love already with this car. So I checked out other features of the car, and one of the things that stood out to me, and for the price of the car, and it was like a 2009, 2018 plate, so it's fairly like 5 years old. So it's not very old. But one of the things that stood out was for a car that price, and I guess it's the only thing that I would say, it's not a negative, but it's the only thing that I would say is could have done better, was the interior. It kind of looked a bit dated and old, and a lot of reviews that you see about the Maserati, a lot of people say that, but it didn't take away from the fact that it's still a beautiful car. So I looked at the back, everything sat in the back, and checked out how you move the seats and stuff, because that's very important. Took the car out, and it was, at the time, the weather was like, there was black ice, it was kind of snowing, it was at minus sub-zero temperatures. So that kind of worried me a little bit, because a car this powerful with this much torque, you know and it's rear wheel, so the slightest bit of bad weather, it might not be the best car to drive. The guy that worked at the showroom took me out, first of all, to the a shop, so a more appropriate place, so we can switch, so he can talk about the car and get me a little bit climatized with the car before getting in. So we finally got to switch, and then I was looking at this guy. He was like, "Oh, it's your turn to drive." I was looking at him like, "Are you sure you want me to drive? Me that I love to speed. It does like you don't even need to give me a powerful car, but I'll make it look like a Ferrari." So I got in, and the first thing I noticed when I got in was the steering wheel was like a little bit tough, solid. So it had that really racing car feel to it, which was great. And it was low down. And of course, me being me, I can't get the chance to drive this and not roll down the window, because I wanted to hear this sound. So I had different modes. I put into sport mode straight away. And of course, everyone started staring and all that, like, who's that bobo there for that cat? So I was like, okay, I love that attention. Of course, you don't get that car. Spend that kind of money and not like the attention. So it drove out. The car was nice. Traffic was heavy, so we finally got onto the back roads or the country roads where it was just straight roads but a bit narrow. So I looked at the guy and I was like, can I floor it? He was like, yeah, do whatever you want. I mean, it's your car for the day. So I was like, okay, cool. So I floored this thing, and being rear wheel, there's that turbo lag where there's no turbos in the Maserati. Um, it's basically naturally aspirated. But what I mean by the turbo lag is that when you put your foot down, in a couple of seconds, then it kicks in. So basically, you don't even feel it before you know it. Your head is at the back of the headrest, so you become effectively a texture within the chair, because it's so it had that pull. So I was like, wow, this is crazy. So 0 to 60 for like 450 horsepower, it felt a lot more powerful, and the sound was immense. It was so loud. I was like, is there any point of even having a radio in this car? And it sounded like beautiful. The sound. I'll let you guys obviously hear the sound at some point in this video, but it was beautiful. The thing that I was worried about being a rear wheel drive, it actually felt very good, like easy to drive. Felt a little bit heavy, which I was a little bit surprised about, but felt like pretty much like the Jaguar XF to drive, and also the Maserati Ghibli. Felt like those to drive, but more performance, more torque, and you're driving a powerful car. So we got onto the motorway, and this thing was, I was like, you know what, I need to floor this, So I floored it, and of course, keeping within the speed limits, because yeah, it was basically going from like going down to 40, and then from 40 go up to like 70 or 80, and then come back down, that kind of thing. So I started asking questions, things that you would ask about fuel consumption and stuff like that. So I guess when you buy a car like that, that should be the last thing you're worrying about, because you're going to consume a lot of fuel, but you're not going to be driving from petrol station to petrol station, is what I mean. So the car really felt good, and even though I had it in sport mode for the whole duration, it didn't. It's not like the BMW X4 that I've got. You put that in sport mode, you can literally see your fuel gauge go down. And also the Maserati MC. One of the reasons why I wanted to drive this, and it was a must that I drove this, is because it actually has a Ferrari engine in it. So it's like an entry level to Ferrari. It sounded much better than Ferraris. I have to say, for having a Ferrari engine sounded much better than Ferrari. So to answer the question about, is it the best sounding car, I would say, having driven cars like the Lamborghini Urus, the Ferrari, the R8, the Audi R8, all of that, I would say actually yes, it's definitely up there. If not, it is the best sounding car, in my opinion, anyway, because there's just nothing that sounds like that. Is the natural aspirated engine gives off that really aggressive but really humble feel to it. You know you can kick some ass in this car, but you're humble about it, which is really good. So that's that in pretty much in a nutshell. Just for the review side of things of the Maserati, is it's actually good value for money in terms of what you get from a car for the price. The Maserati that I drove was sitting at about £90,000, and the mileage was actually very low. So for what you get from that car, you get a lot for that price. The only thing I would say that they could have done better, or especially seeing as the car first came out in 2007 or 2008, you know, and this was a 2018 or 2019 model I was driving. So basically 12 years. Um, the dash and everything looks a little bit old and dated. They could have really improved on that. I think they've really improved, or they will really improve on it with the new Maseratis, because there's new models coming out from the 23 onwards, but they're retailing about 100 and $200,000. Value for money, you get a lot, because hey, you get a Ferrari engine, you get a really good sounding car, you get a really stable car, and you basically you get a nice toy to drive around. And plus it's got 4 seats, so not many actual cars in that same league have 4 seats. They're all like 2 seaters, and also it actually retains it holds its value very well, which is what you want. I mean, you spend that kind of money on that car, you don't want it to depreciate too much that you're losing out so much money. It's just sitting on your driveway losing money. No, I think the depreciation value of this is very good. It's one of the few cars that actually holds its value very well. You know, other Maseratis might not really do it. All depends on the mileage, but good value for money. The engine is great. In fact, when they opened the bonnet, I was like, damn, it's basically a Ferrari. It even has a Ferrari red. So one of the things actually I forgot to mention is the guys at the dealership. They let me know if you buy a Maserati, you effectively become a member of the club, right? The Maserati club. They'll phone you up and say, "Oh, how are you getting on with your Maserati?" All of that, and then they invite you out to Italy, and you can actually drive around Italy in the Maserati. I mean, that is actually pretty cool, and also meet other people in Italy and stuff like that. So you go about and go, my Maserati, yeah, yeah. So anyway, I hope I don't offend any Italians, but yeah, that's all that you be driving, moving around like that. But anyway, yeah, so I found that pretty cool, and I guess you're in a different level. You go to Maseratis, Ferraris, Lamborghinis, you're on a different level. So there has to be that extra exclusivity feeling about it. Yeah, I hope you enjoyed this review and about the car, the Maserati. Guys, if you get a chance, definitely go and test drive it. So hope you guys enjoyed it. Give it video a like, and let me know if you think, like I said at the start of the video, if you think it's the best sounding car or if you don't agree. Also, let me know what car you think is the best sounding car and why. Subscribe. If you're watching this and you're not subscribed, go ahead and subscribe. Hit that notification bell so you don't miss any future videos, because I've test drove a lot of nice cars and I'm going to be putting videos of those out in due course. So those are the things that you need to, well, you might be interested in. So go ahead, subscribe, hit that notification bell, and I'll see you in the next video.